Coming up on SCTV3, see what the city of Springfield is doing to keep kids safe when getting off the bus.
Plus, see how many stars this local pizzeria gets in the newest installment of Patty's Pizza.
All that and more tonight on SCTV3.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of SCTV3 Weekly News. I'm Patrick Fergus.
And I'm Lanaya Delgado. Thank you for joining us.
We start tonight's show here in Springfield. The Springfield Police Department recently launched an initiative to help keep children safe as they get off the school bus.
This initiative extends to the members of the Springfield College campus community as well. I spoke with a representative from the police department and looked into how all of this is coming together.
Just not paying attention, which is even more dangerous.
On October 14th, the city of Springfield announced an initiative to help with cars illegally passing buses that were stopped with lights flashing. Cars passing without stopping for pedestrians within the sidewalk is not only illegal, but poses a serious threat to the community and to the campus.
I spoke to Joe Shrombrowski, who is the chief of police here at Springfield College, as well as Ryan Walsh, who's the spokesperson for the Springfield Police Department, to see what they both think that we could do at Springfield College to make the streets of Springfield a better place. Not only for the students on campus, but also the students who go to the schools in our community that's around the Springfield College campus.
A lot of signage for pedestrian crosswalks. We also have a lot of visibility posts for officers. So we typically, if you'll see officers at high traffic areas during class changes. You'll see us parked at Abbey Circle, or see us parked along Laughlin Hall, that crosswalk there, or farther down by the Wellness Center. And the goal for the signage and for our officers doing visibility posts is to slow traffic down to make sure that our students can cross the street safely while they're out campus.
The Springfield Police Department received multiple complaints from the community about concerns of drivers not stopping for the buses or pedestrians.
You in the city has been putting some stop signs, they've been doing some speed bumps, and also installing some rotaries that you see right down the street from your college right there. That slows people down. That's important. And when I drive through Alden Street when on my ride home every day, kids are getting out of class. For them as pedestrians, stay in the crosswalk, make sure you make eye contact with the driver before you cross. Too many times you see kids just kind of crossing in the middle of the road, or they cross in a crosswalk before even making that eye contact with the driver, assuming that they're going to stop. That can put pedestrians in danger. In the past 2 years, nearly half of our fatal crashes in the city have involved the pedestrian.
Walsh wanted to make one message very clear to all drivers on campus as well in the community.
One lapse in judgment of being on your phone, speeding, not paying attention can affect the rest of your life. Far too often we see pedestrians seriously injured or killed that are in the street crossing just because someone's not paying attention. We have pedestrians as well that may not look, and then they get in a crash with a vehicle and suffer serious injuries. So everything can wait because you're not invincible, and one moment can change the rest of your life. So please pay attention behind the wheel and put your phones down.
To be the change that we want to see in our community, it starts with us here on campus. Make sure you always look both ways before you're crossing the street. And if you're driving, make sure you're stopping for every pedestrian, as well as looking for those school buses with the big flashing lights. Together, we can make the streets of Springfield a better place. With SCTV3, I'm Lanaya Delgado.
If you have any questions, please call Springfield College Public Safety. The number for the non-emergency line is 413-748-3516 or dial 911 for immediate emergencies.
During Common Hour on Monday, the Pride Cares graduation took place in the Dodge Room, located on the top floor of the campus union. The Pride Cares initiative is a group of students who engage people about the importance of supporting people struggling with their mental health. Pride Cares members completed a 7-hour training program centered around non-judgmental language and empathetic listening. The students graduated and earned a green tag symbolizing they're an advocate. The graduation included a guest speaker, head coach of the Springfield women's basketball team, Naomi Graves. She gave an inspiring speech to students and faculty in attendance about the importance of groups like Pride Cares. Madison Lopez, a player under Graves, earned her tag and spoke about what she's learned from the initiative.
My biggest takeaway from Pride Cares is just the importance of just a simple conversation. You don't realize how much just literally asking how someone's day is going can change their entire mindset. You have no idea what anybody's going through ever. So just those simple little conversations, they go a long way, much farther than we all realize.
This was the 8th graduation held by Pride Cares, which hopes to continue to educate students each semester in the importance of mental health and how to navigate a mental crisis.
With Veterans Day on Tuesday, Springfield College held a ceremony in the Marsh Memorial Chapel to acknowledge and celebrate veterans. Springfield College Director of Spiritual Life, David McMahon, was the speaker of the event. McMahon highlighted value of veterans and a need to appreciate sacrifices and bravery of those who've served. At the center of the event was the importance of helping veterans, particularly ones dealing with the adverse effects of war. McMahon also gave a special mention to Springfield College's student veterans. Taps was played at the conclusion of the event, a touching way to end the ceremony honoring our country's bravest men and women.
On Sunday morning, students and faculty in the Communications Sports Journalism major assisted in an open house for prospective students. Students and their parents filed into the basement of Weiser Hall, where they were greeted with copies of the Springfield Student, Pride Sports Journal, and flyers from the Hoop Hall Classic. After learning more from Professor of Communications Marty Dobrow, the parents discussed the program further, while the prospective students got to step into our own TV studio to read in front of the teleprompter, like they were anchoring a show for SCTV3. This past event was the last open house of the fall semester, catered to students looking at programs in the School of Arts and Sciences.
Earlier today in the Dodge Room, an event called Transferable Skills was held in the Campus Union. Hosted by Colin McNulty and Lauren Mitchell of the Career Center, the event focused in transferable skills students can include in a professional resume. The students were very hands-on and were given activities which focused on brainstorming stronger verbs to describe previous work experiences. They say a key to land a job you want is to be more specific with your skills. McNulty says skills like problem solving and ability to work in a team is desirable for hiring managers.
So the skills that you would want to gain just, in your freshman, sophomore year right now are those teamwork skills, your problem solving, critical thinking, time management, organization. I would say those are your most crucial ones right now, and they're things that employers are noticing are lacking in these entry-level roles that are being filled by our recent graduates is, those teamwork skills, being able to talk with another person, being interpersonal with them, even writing emails is becoming more of a crucial thing to understand.
Stay on the lookout for more emails from the Career Center on more upcoming events like this.
The campus celebrated Remy's second birthday this past Friday. Remy, the college's emotional support animal, was given a birthday cake, plus kisses and pets from students on campus. Remy's friend from the Hampden County Sheriff's Department came to join the celebration. Remy gear was also sold, with all proceeds going to Remy's training. Remy has an Instagram account with the username SC_ComfortDog_Remy.
We now send it over to Nina Hutchins in Studio B with our local and national weather update. Nina?
As temperatures drop, it's important to know if you're going to need a winter coat for your morning walk to class. Taking a look at the week ahead, the temperatures will remain consistent in the 40s and low 50s. The sun is out tomorrow and Saturday, with both days sitting at a high of 43 degrees. Sunday afternoon will reach the week high of 52 degrees, yet in the afternoon we will see some showers. As the rain clears up heading into Monday, winds may reach up to 14 miles per hour. It will remain partly sunny for the remainder of the week, with a chance for a wet Thursday. While there is no snow on the radar yet, it is only a matter of time before the shovels are brought back out to Eldon Street. We now move to some national weather headlines. Many states received their first snowfall of the season, with New York, Chicago, Vermont, and Maine among the list. Areas surrounding Lake Michigan saw some lake effect snow at 2 inches per hour overnight Sunday into Monday morning. The winter weather was accompanied by 20 miles per hour winds to start the week. Some regions in Indiana totaled around 10 inches of snow, causing an influx of traffic issues, canceled flights, and closing of local schools. As these regions see level temperatures for the rest of the week in the 40s and the 50s, it seems continued snowfall will hold off, instead seeing rain forecasted in many northeast areas. Back to Lanaya and Patrick in Studio A.
Stay tuned after the break to see which member of the Exercise Science Department announced their retirement.
Director of Sports Performance and Professor of Exercise Science, Dr. Brian Thompson, announced his retirement last Friday. SCTV3's Kyle Valentine sat down with Thompson to talk about his 27-year career at Springfield College.
Really, the field didn't really exist, or it was just beginning when I was in high school and college. In high school, I had a really good strength coach, and then when I got to college, I played football and wrestled in college, and the strength coach there was very good. And originally, I started in athletic training. My goal while I was in college, I wanted to be a high school math teacher and wrestling and football coach. And I kind of got into athletic training, and then really just happened into strength and conditioning. I was a power lifter. At the time you had to be like, if you're like a big, strong, ugly guy, you could be a strength coach. So like I had the resume. Ended up University of Illinois, where I did my master's and doctorate and worked as a strength coach and an athletic trainer there. And then really what brought me to Springfield College, my girlfriend at the time, who now we've been married for 27 years, got a job out at Springfield. So I came out and they had an opportunity to come in, and I didn't come in really working in strength and conditioning at first. I worked as Director of Research for the U.S. Sports and Fitness Center for the Disabled. So I did that for a while, then I got into athletic training. Then after my third year here, they created a spot in strength and conditioning, and that's where I've been ever since. Fell in love with the college, and I did my undergrad at Ball State University, around 20,000 students, then University of Illinois, about 40,000 students, and I really liked I guess the way you got to know everybody here. You walk around, everybody knows each other, you know each other's name. I mean, I could walk around Illinois for a week and maybe run into a couple people I know. So that, just the community here, the fact that you come in on weekends and faculty's here, and everybody supports each other. You see athletes at each other's games and competitions, and I think it's just a special place. I mean, really the highlight here is just watching how students develop over the time here, and really cool seeing students that have their dream jobs, and I see them work through, and then all of a sudden they're in that dream job, that type of thing. As a professor, seeing that kind of thing, seeing people reach their goals, and now those students are like, I see them go on, be successful careers, start families, things like that, and just then go back and make a contribution to the college and help others, and it's really cool. I have former students calling me all the time, say, I have a job opening, I want a Springfield person. And yes, if you look out all over the country in strength and conditioning, you see several Springfield people all at the same place. And it'll be multi-generational, so it's really cool when just that continued development. So that's been the best part of my career. And like when the announcement came out on social media that I was retiring, my phone just started going crazy, and everybody reaching out to me. It's really fun to kind of see the community we've built and just the support Springfield students have for each other through the years.
The 2021 NSCA College Strength and Conditioning Coach of the Year will retire at the end of the spring 2026 semester.
4 months after the July 4th flooding catastrophe in Texas, 7 of the families who lost children in the floodwaters are accusing Camp Mystic of negligence. They filed the first lawsuit since the disaster. Part of the camp sits along a river that flooded after heavy rain. SCTV3's Dante Iafredi has more.
The terrifying flash flood deaths of 25 girls and 2 camp counselors were due to the negligence of camp owners and were entirely preventable, according to 2 new lawsuits.
This wasn't an act of God. This was an act of pure complacency.
Back in August, Blake Bonner told Texas lawmakers that his daughter, Lila, paid the price for following an emergency plan at Camp Mystic that was destined to fail. The girls were among 135 people who died in flash flooding across Texas that morning.
When I think about the trauma and fear that our girls endured, it makes me physically ill.
An emergency plan to have campers stay in their cabins unless told otherwise was to conceal the dangers that defendants knew about. It also alleges the camp chose to not spend money on basic safety measures. And after the first flash flood warnings were issued, the suit says rather than turning to the cabins, they convened the grounds crew and started securing equipment. Matthew and Welly Childress' daughter, Chloe, was one of the 2 counselors who died.
And those 2 girls would have taken the 13 tiny children and their care up the hill and into safety. But because the rule was to stay in place, they stayed in place, and it cost all of those children, including Catherine, their lives.
In response to the lawsuits, legal counsel for Camp Mystic said, "We intend to demonstrate and prove that this sudden surge of floodwaters far exceeded any previous flood in the area by several magnitudes." Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Dante Iafredi.
Camp Mystic says it plans to open again next summer on a part of the property that did not flood in July.
The longest government shutdown in the United States history will come to a close this morning following a deal made by Congress. SCTV3's Emma Bynes has more.
The United States government has reached a deal to end the government shutdown and is currently in the process of passing a bill through the legislative and executive branches of government. 8 Democratic senators aligned with Republicans this week in order to reach a deal to reopen the government. The measure passed the House of Representatives yesterday afternoon and reached the desk of President Trump, who has since signed the bill. The shutdown had costly impacts on air travel and SNAP benefits for Americans. Here's Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy on the consequences if a deal was not reached.
Thursday and Friday, I think you would have seen mass, double, triple the number of cancellations and delays in the airspace.
The deal guarantees Democrats a vote on health care subsidies before funding lapses and prices skyrocket in the new year, but not an automatic extension of the funding like Democrats had originally requested. The deal also reverses recent layoffs of federal workers due to the shutdown. With the 43-day shutdown ending, the longest in American history, a flurry of action has happened in Congress, such as Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva being sworn in over 2 months after she was elected.
This delay is not procedural, it's intentional. Earlier this year, Speaker Johnson swore in 2 Republicans from Florida with less than 24 hours after their elections during a pro forma session. There is no reason, other than politics, that Arizona should be treated differently.
With a deal reached, expect air traffic to return to normal and lots of action throughout Congress. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Emma Bynes.
SNAP benefits should be resumed within the next 24 hours. All federal workers were ordered to return to work this morning.
After 7 weeks of waiting, Congressman Adelita Grijalva was officially sworn into the House of Representatives after winning special election for Arizona's 7th Congressional District. This comes after many members of Congress have criticized Speaker of the House Mike Johnson for not swearing her in. SCTV3's Callan Wakander has more.
It has been 43 days since the government shutdown officially started on October 1st. Before that, on September 17th, Representative Adelita Grijalva was elected as a United States Representative for Arizona's 7th Congressional District and had a rocky start to her political career in Washington.
We're going to push forward bipartisan legislation to ensure it, because we cannot allow this to happen to anybody again. For one individual to be able to silence 800,000 people, it's unconscionable. Es grosero. It's just not okay.
Grijalva was officially sworn in 7 weeks after she was initially elected to the House. She was sworn into the House of Representatives by Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who administered the oath of office. The two posed for a picture before Johnson gave a brief speech to the press about Grijalva and the timeline to getting her sworn in.
I just told her on the way in that she fills her father's shoes, or she's going to try. No one can.
No one can.
He was a giant around here, served a long time, served his state very well. I served under him in the Natural Resources Committee.
Grijalva believes that Johnson delayed her swearing due to her being the last person needed to sign off on the Epstein files that would lead to them getting released to the public. But Speaker Johnson told the press that, quote, "We follow the president," end quote. This comes after a lawsuit was filed by Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays demanding that Grijalva be sworn in after she won the special election last month. Reporting for SCTV3, I am Callan Wakander.
Now that Grijalva is sworn in, she can now start to serve her constituents.
After the break, SCTV3's Callan Wakander has you covered with this week's edition of SCTV3's Sports Extra.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra. I'm Callum Wikander. This past Saturday, Springfield College football took to Stagg Field for what would be the deciding game in the top spot in the NUMAC against Coast Guard. Both teams came into the game tied for the top spot, and the winner secured the NUMAC and a spot in the national tournament. The first quarter of the game saw just 2 total drives, both of which ended in a touchdown for each team. In the second quarter, the Pride defense began to lock down the Bears' air attack. Yet, they just couldn't pull away before halftime, leading just 10-7 in the second half. The Pride's run game provided to be too much for the Coast Guard defense as they powered through to a dominant 30-10 victory, securing their 5th straight NUMAC title.
Behind me, the battle for the NUMAC just took place here on Stagg Field between Coast Guard and Springfield College. After just 2 total drives in the first quarter, with both defenses coming out extremely competitive, Springfield was able to take charge. With a Cam Pedro touchdown, later on a James Green touchdown on a huge 4th down conversion would be all she wrote for the Pride, as they would go on to win this game 30-10 and hold sole possession of the NUMAC for the 5th straight year. Next weekend is the regular season finale back here on Stagg Field. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Caleb Knowles.
The Pride wrapped up its regular season against SUNY Maritime on Saturday before getting ready for the postseason tournament. We now look at the Springfield teams in action this week, starting with those staying here on Alden Street. Wrestling looks to continue its dominant start as they welcome crosstown rival Western New England to campus tomorrow night. Football looking to put the final stamp on its season as SUNY Maritime comes to Stagg Field on Saturday. And capping off the Pride's home slate is men's basketball hosting Amherst next Tuesday at 7. Moving on over to the student athletes that will be playing away from Alden Street. Women's basketball will take a trip up to New York for the Chuck Wrestler Invitational, starting against Middlebury tomorrow at 3. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams will also be traveling to New York for the NCAA Division III Regional Championships starting this weekend. The men's and women's swimming and diving teams head to Connecticut to face Wesleyan Saturday afternoon, and finishing off the away slate is women's volleyball, taking on Babson in a NUMAC semifinal matchup. Winners had to face off against MIT or Coast Guard in the championship. That's all we have for you in this week's schedule. If you want more, head to SpringfieldCollegePride.com. Springfield College women's soccer just had its most successful season since 2021, making it to the finals of the NUMAC Championship. SCTV3's Liam Riley spoke to standout players Caitlin Suller and Jessica Perry about the team's goals and the resurgence in October.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of SCTV3's Weekly Athlete Interview. I'm Liam Riley here with Caitlin Solar and Jessica Perry. So I just wanted to ask you guys first, what goals did you guys set at the start of the season, and were you guys able to follow up with those goals?
I think our main goal was to win NUMACs this year, and we got the closest in my 4 years that we've ever been, so we got to the finals. So I would say we pretty much did it besides the last final game.
Yeah, that was like the big goal, was to win NUMACs. But I mean, as a freshman making it to the final my first year was pretty cool. And I think another thing was like we had a new coach this season, so just being able to work well with her as well as collaborate with like our team to reach our goals.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, like going back a little bit, I know September was a little bit tough, but you guys were able to have a little bit of a resurgence in October. What kind of set that spark?
I honestly think that we always had it in us. I think it was our formation change. We changed formation, so we started to play a 3-5-2 instead of a 4-4-3. And honestly, I think that's what really sparked it. And then we just we always had the talent. It was just trying to use the talent in
like a different way. And I think honestly that really is what shifted it.
Yeah, I think senior night, like that was the start of our kind of winning streak going toward postseason. And I feel like we used that energy and our new formation and just carried it with us. I think using that game and winning by the amount that we did was definitely a step in the right direction.
So that formation change, like how did that just kind of, how did that work?
I think it was more like personnel, like just the way that our team dynamic was and like the talent that we had. I think we had a lot of speed. So I think allowing more people from the wing and having two forwards up top to feed the ball to was very helpful in order to create scoring opportunities.
Yeah. So Jess, I want to ask you, great first year. How are you looking to build off of that?
I think definitely coming in as a freshman was obviously intimidating, and being able to make a good contribution was awesome. I think we're obviously losing very good seniors, so it's going to be definitely hard to fill their shoes, but I think the postseason run that we had is just going to build momentum for the start of next season.
Yeah, and then Kaylin, potential last year, just what has the women's soccer program meant to you?
Honestly, it's been everything. My 4 years here, I don't think would have been the same if I didn't be on this team. Being able to play with such great players from all over, meeting so many different people, honestly, it's probably just been the best part of my 4 years here.
That's great. And then is there any advice you would give to Jess for the rest of her collegiate career?
That's such a tough one. I mean, this is so cliche, but enjoy it. It does go by fast. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. I think that was one thing I struggled with a lot freshman year. Only control what you can control. So like you can control your attitude and your work ethic. So if you can just focus on those two, then you'll be good.
That's great advice. That's going to be everything for us. Back to you, Cal, in the studio.
That will do it for this week's edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra. Stay tuned after the break to see the newest installment of Patty's Pizza.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
In order to find the best pizza in Western Mass, it's important to listen to the locals. Capri Pizza in Holyoke has been highly requested, and so I took a trip over to see if the pizza lived up to the hype. We're over here in Holyoke at Capri Pizza, highly requested by our own technical director, Ray. Let's head inside. Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Capri first opened its doors in 1966. And as a staple of the Western Mass pizza scene, I had to give it a try. You can feel the tradition of the place, with a classic pizza joint layout complete with a nice walk-up counter and a cozy bar in the dining area. You can also tell it's the kind of place where families love to get a bite to eat. The service was quick and simple, as I opted for a 16-inch pie, which certainly lived up to the hype.
Well, as we mentioned, this comes highly, highly recommended, and off first look, it looks pretty good. First of all, that right amount of crunch that you can hear, and it's light. Seems light. Let's see if it tastes. The sauce is incredible. Just absolutely jumps out at you. Have a good amount of cheese, and that's sauce that is just slicing through both of it. Very good. Ray, you're onto something here.
The crispy crust and tangy sauce left me craving even more, and luckily I got to take some home for dessert. Capri delivers on the flavor and great energy, landing at 4.5 stars. Taking a look at the updated rankings, Capri comfortably slots into a tie for second. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Pizza Pat. That will do it for this edition of SCTV3 Weekly News. Thank you for tuning in.
Make sure to follow SCTV3 on all social media platforms, as well as SCTV3's YouTube, where you can view all of our old shows. Thank you again for tuning in, and we hope to catch you next week, same time.
Same place.